How's it going, everyone? We're going to look at the starter decks, and I'm going to highlight some of the cards within there which I think are very notable that, if played correctly, can really help you win games. First of all, I want to rank the starting decks, so if you just want to start playing, I think I can rank the starting decks for you. And I would rank it in this particular order. I would rank it as Monsters first, Scoia'tael, a very close Scoia'tael, Skellige very closely behind, still pretty strong, Northern Realms and Nilfgaard. They're kind of tailing back. So Monsters, Scoia'tael at the top, Skellige kind of a middle, very close behind third, and Northern Realms, Nilfgaard tailing quite far behind, I think. So let's go over the Nilfgaard starter deck, and I'll be highlighting a couple of cards which I think are notable, and I'll teach you how to play them, how they should be played. Now, I do consider the Nilfgaard starter deck to be probably the worst starter deck out of the lot. It's mainly revolving around the spying mechanic, where you play units onto the opponent's side of the board and you get some benefits from doing so. However, you don't have the cards which gain the best benefits. In fact, you really don't have many cards at all that which gain a lot of benefits, so it's really lacking in that aspect. So let's first go on to our leader card, Jean Calvite. Look at 3 cards from your deck, then play one. I mean, he is a good card, it gives you an element of choice. You're mainly going to be using him when you're either looking for something specific, although you may not get it because it's a bit RNG, or when you want to get good tempo, because he can play golds or silvers that are really powerful. So you play him and you get something really powerful, it kind of does a bit of a chain. So yeah, during those 2 instances you need to catch up, or you're looking for something specific like some way to deal damage. Otherwise you'll probably hold on to him until you can just throw him out towards the end of the game. So the next notable card is CANTARELLA, and this one really surprised me. This is what we call a card advantage spy. Now, every faction has a card advantage spy, and CANTARELLA is the Nilfgaardian one, but this is the only starter deck to actually have one in it, and it's a very powerful card. It's 13 strength and it's spying. You can tell if a card is spying because it'll have the spying text there, a unit on the opposite side of the board from its original owner. So I'll be playing this onto my opponent's side of the board. I'll be giving them 13 strength. It's a bit weird, that, isn't it? But the benefit is quite important. You draw 2 cards, you keep one and move the other to the bottom of your deck. So essentially speaking, I'll play this onto my opponent's side of the board, give him the 13 strength, and then I draw a card from my deck back into my hand. And it's called a card advantage spy because you gain 1 card advantage from using this thing. Now, later on in the game, when you've got a lot more cards, 13 strength is probably a lot easier to deal with. But as a starter deck, this is going to be an issue. You have to play very smart when you play this. Now, we'll go over that. There's a very intricate amount of stuff you can do with this. A whole video should be dedicated to card advantage spies on its own. But in short, I'll probably use this in round 1 when it looks like I'm about to lose, just to give my opponent 13 strength and then pass. Or I'll use it in round 2 after I've won round 1. Is usually the ways that I'll play this. So the next card is Joachim de Wet. This is the 5 strength silver. He is spying, as seen here, which, if you remember, a little bit of a test here, I'll be playing this 5 strength onto the opponent's side of the board, okay? He also has the ability to play the top loyal bronze or silver unit from your deck and boost it by 10. So what's really important to note first is this term loyal. Okay, it's not highlighted so you can't see what it is, but loyal means non-spying units, or any card that you play on your side of the board. Loyal cards you play on your side of the board. Disloyal, which is another term you might come up with, is any spying card. All spying cards are disloyal because you place them on the opponent's side of the board, okay? So, I mean, it's a very good card. This is a card that you'll see in loads of Nilfgaard decks all the way up into the top levels. It's a very good card. I'll be playing it when I want a big tempo swing. So although we give them 5 strength, we get a bronze or silver from our deck and boost it by 10. So we're actually doing quite good value. And later on, we'll get the benefit of it being spying when we get better cards. So it's a very good card, and use it when you need that tempo swing. Do, I mean, I'm mentioning this in all the videos because it's very important. You copy the power of an enemy. Leave it till the last card if you can, because you want to copy the most powerful unit they have. You can combine this with CANTARELLA, give them 13 strength, and then copy it, because you guarantee a really strong unit on their side of the board, possibly. But I think generally most opponents will get over 13 strength. And likewise with Commander's Horn, boost 5 adjacent units by 4. casually you'll be setting up for a Commander's Horn if you've got access to it in your hand to get a very good 20 strength swing. So let's go over some of the bronzes. Okay, we saw some spying cards already in Cantarella and Joachim de Witt, and we've got some more to come in the bronze section. I just want to comment upon this guy, the DEITHWEN ARBALEST. This is the only card in the starter deck that actually benefits from making things spying. Okay, there are some better cards that you don't have access to, and I will comment upon them, because you should look out for them if you like playing or want to play the spying Nilfgaard, because it can be quite a good deck. So I'll comment upon them so you know what you're looking for. But for now, the DEITHWEN ARBALEST deal 3 damage to an enemy. If it is spying, deal 6 damage instead. It's okay. I mean, it makes it 13 strength, and you need to play them by hitting spying units, because otherwise they're less than most, and you'll probably lose because you're not getting good value. So these are the only cards in the starter deck that actually synergize with spies, so try and make sure you hit spying units with this card. So next we've got the Emissary. This is a 2 strength bronze spying unit. I'll be placing it on my opponent's side of the board. Look at 2 bronze units from your deck and then play one. So this card thins your deck a little bit because you'll be pulling more cards out when you play this, and you can actually go Emissary into Emissary into Emissary into another bronze, and that'll thin your deck a lot, so that means you'll get access to your golds and your silvers easier. But I mean, the DEITHWEN ARBALEST that we just saw, just 3 damage and 6 to spying. This will be spying, but there's no reason to hit it because you're just going to waste a lot of value. So unless they buff it to 6 and then you kill it, you get good value. At the minute this card is a bit meh, until you've got some of the really good cards that I will speak of soon. And finally we've got the Infiltrator. This is a 10 strength bronze, and you give a unit spying. Okay, so if your opponent plays a really strong dwarf or a really strong Skellige card or a really strong monster card, you can make it a spying card. You give it a little status, you toggle it on, and he's now spying. And this means that your Arbalest can actually do good damage now on that unit. So this is going to be integral to combo with the DEITHWEN ARBALEST. Okay, but that's it for the Nilfgaard starter deck. I'd say spying is probably the most confusing and at the minute the most ineffective, but let's give it a go and we'll see how we do, shall we? Now before we finish this particular segment, here's 2 cards which you really want to look out for if you do decide that you want to play the spying archetype with Nilfgaard. IMPERA Brigade, 6 strength bronze, boost south by 2 for each spying enemy. Boost south by 2 whenever a spying enemy appears. So these are all retroactive, okay? If you've got those spying units on the board, then you place this guy, he'll boost up 2 for each. This is a very good card. You can have 3 of these in the deck, and you know, they can easily get up to 18-20 value. They're very, very strong. You get these, and that enables that entire archetype a lot better. And to go with that, you'll need the IMPERA Enforcers. Deal 2 damage for each spying enemy. Deal 2 damage whenever a spying enemy appears. So again, retroactive. And these guys can earn you a lot of strength as well, like 18-20 strength if they're left on the board. Very, very good. So look out for the IMPERA Brigade, look out for the IMPERA Enforcers. It will enable that entire archetype to just, you know, climb up in value a lot better. Because at the minute it's at the bottom, you get a couple of these guys and suddenly it starts to get up there quite highly. So definitely have a look out for those when you open your kegs. Okay, so it is my Nilfgaard deck versus monsters. I consider one of the stronger ones. It depends on how he uses his fog and whether he actually uses it correctly. So for me, I'll be using spies and really all revolving around these DEITHWEN Arbalests, and when I play that, it's going to be very important. Okay, so in my mulligan, I am pretty happy with it, but I wouldn't mind some more golds or silvers in my hand. We're going to get rid of the Combat Engineer. Definitely don't want Roach. Okay, we got one more redraw, but do you know why I'm not going to do it? Okay, there's a little test there. I don't know if this is a good thing to do during videos, but this guy, okay, summon all copies of this unit, which means play automatically from the deck. So when I play him, all the rest come out of the deck. I don't want to risk getting a second one of him in my hand, so we're going to not risk getting the second one by drawing that last card. That's very important. My turn first. It's not good to go first. It's definitely better to go second. Because now I'm going to have to play first and he's going to have the last say at the minute. So we'll play this guy first, get the rest out of the deck. and we should be safe. He will probably play just a weather on my melee row. Okay. He's decided to get his out of the deck as well. Fair enough. We don't have access to Commander's Horn. We could do with our leader card. Look at 3 cards from your deck and then play one. And if he has weather, I've got 2 choices. Spread around so I don't take as much damage, or stack on one row. I'm going to 2, 4, 6, 7. That's 6 turns of weather there. So I'll stack, I think, now, in case I do get Commander's Horn. I'm expecting a monster player, you to play your weather very early, even if it's your leader card. You're playing his weather. That looks like a weather, yeah. But I don't have a clear sky on me. I'm going to take 2 damage per turn. Not good. Right, we're going to play this, even though we don't get benefit from the spying. It's a strong unit. So we're quite ahead. I think he's generally quite slow. Might have to consider passing soon. That's a card we want to get rid of if we can. But at this point, I'm going to play my leader card. And I'm looking for 2 things. I'm looking for either Manticore Venom, kill that, or I'm looking for Commander's Horn for that. Okay?
I forgive you.
Manticore Venom.
This time.
You don't know what that does. Boost my 1 for Fog. Fog is on the board at the end of turn. So, not only would I be taking 2 damage, he'd be getting +1. So that's called an engine card. And they gain value over time, and they're really powerful if you don't stop them. So, he'll have more of those. I do think that... Okay. Let's have a look. Okay. I'd say all of this is quite good. I'm not sure about him. Yeah, right, that's good. We're keeping all these because they're very valuable. We're keeping both of these because I've won that first round, so he can't pass, really. You know, he has to keep playing because if he passes, I win. I'll just play all my cards. So what we're going to do is, normally you might consider a dry pass. In this situation, a dry pass is where I pass, he has to play a card, and then he goes first and has to play another card, and I gain a lot of card advantage that way. But I'm thinking because he's weather, which is great at, you know, building up this tempo that goes every turn, like Fog does 2 damage every turn, and his Ancient Foglets gain 1 strength every turn, and just, you know, really good stuff that just builds and builds and builds. We don't actually want to sit in a long round with him. I'm going to bleed him out now. And this is another tactic of the game. We're going to start with a Cantarella.
I shall be your eyes.
Okay. 11. Yeah. I think. So, bleeding. This is the opposite tactic. This is a very advanced tactic, but I'm going to have to explain it because that's what I'm doing. You might question why I'm actually playing round 2. Basically, he's going to be playing weather, and he's going to be playing these guys. Okay, and he'll get a lot of strength. If I'm in round 3, he's going to be building up so much strength, I don't think I'll be able to compete with it. However, I'm pretty good in short rounds, quick bursts of strength, using this guy and maybe that guy or something. So I'm going to keep my most powerful cards back, okay, while I'm going to bleed him of his most powerful, which are that's quite a powerful card. So I'm going to play an Infiltrator and then make that spying. Is it possible? I'd like to try and kill that. It will take me possibly 2 turns of that. 6 damage and another 6 damage. But killing it off will actually ruin a lot of strength that you could get in this round. And we don't really care if we lose this round. In fact, I'm probably counting on it. But I mean, if we can try and make it hard for him, then we will do that. You know, try and make it hard if we can. We're going to spread around this time. And the reason being is because, you know, we don't know that we can't get Commander's Horn now. And if he has to place a fog on the melee and a fog on the range and a fog on the siege and all that business, then that's 3 fogs he's used. So the more fogs I can make him use, the better. So let's start doing some damage to that. He's probably going to place fog down, so that starts getting boosted to try and protect it. It's not going to be enough. It's just going to go to 5 strength. Okay. And we can do 6 damage. So. Oh, doo-doo. Again, that's a very early doo-doo. That was 10 strength a while ago. So that would have been better. So again, hold your doo-doo to the very end. Don't waste it like that. We've got the advantage because we can place units onto the opponent's side of the board like Cantarella. So we can at least guarantee a 13 strength for doo-doo. But okay, let's we'll kill that guy. Losing 2 value, but when he places that fog down, it will gain more value. So still fine. Okay, again, he's playing suboptimally, and this is actually something that bleeding, which is what I'm doing, makes people do. Boost up to 6 random allies by 2. He's only got 3 units on the board, but he thinks, like, I've got 15 strength lead, I don't need to play my most powerful, and this is actually kind of a good thing, you know? Alright, we'll play some of these bronzes here. This will thin my deck, it guarantees, or at least makes it more likely that I'm going to pull my golds and silvers, because I'm playing all my bronzes from my deck already. Okay. Again, that's a 15 strength now, that Cantarella. My doo-doo's looking good. For that reason, I'm going to choose the Combat Engineer. We might get him later. And we'll boost up. Now, as a monster player, it is very difficult to play weather in when someone's bleeding you like this. Okay, that's another thing. 6 strength, 5 damage. That's fine. Okie dokie then. We don't actually want to hit that with the DEITHWEN Arbalest that we might pull soon, because that's a good doo-doo target. So what I'm actually thinking of doing is I will make something else spying.
If not
Its strongest unit, second strongest, that one.
Stealth.
And then I'll hit that one. We're closing the gap. The reason being is he hasn't put any weather down. No? Oh wow, that's a good.
Please wait your
Both to an Arbalest, that's worth 13, that's worth 11, so we'll go for that.
Order.
Go. It would be the best thing, really nice, if we could beat his strength and then pass. Very unlikely we'll do that. Okay, he's played that wrong. Now, for anyone that plays Commander's Horn, it boosts 5 adjacent units. So, you have to select the middle one, okay? So, you select that one, it boosts that one, that one, that one, and that one. What my opponent did was select that one. So, it boosted that one, and tried to boost that and that. So, he just played it totally wrong there. He only got 12 value where he should have selected that one. I think 19, let me just check. That's 20, that'd be 58, that'd be 57. So that put me on a draw. The only reason why I would think about playing that now is because how useful is that going to be next round? I say hold it to the very end, but how useful is it going to be next round? It's going to be 8. From what I know, it's going to be 8 strength. Could be an 11. Might be worth trying to keep it. I think I'm going to bleed him a little bit more. This guy is going to be my big power play. Okay, with Joachim de Wet, if you can remember that. Pen puts me onto that. That puts me into the lead. Okay, so I'm in the lead. Got Roach as well. Here we go. What's he going to do? Now, it's really important. If he plays that, I know what he's got left, so I can choose whether I want to do that or not. Okay. So now, I mean, because I get the last say, I can calculate whether I've won this game or not. How much is that worth? That is worth 8, 9, 10, because of the weather's going to tick when he plays it. And then another weather, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Maybe a bit more as well. So that's worth 5. I've done. It's worth a bronze unit plus 10. Plus whatever that unit can do. Which I think is probably going to be one of these. So that's 11 plus 10. 21. Okay, so 21. He's got 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think. Then I need 4. That's 20, 24. I don't think I can do it. I think I'll be 3 strength behind. So we'll pass. Right, that pulls me a gold. Have I used all my golds? 1. I haven't used Geralt. So I've got 2 of the best cards I could possibly get. He won his first turn. I'm wondering whether I calculated that right. I'm wondering how many ticks of weather I would have taken. Okay. But like I said, I'm really good at short burst rounds. 11 is strong. Okay. I'm going to start with Geralt.
Not your lucky day.
And I got pretty lucky to get him, but this is where those emissaries that were really useful. Oh, sorry, they're in my opponent's graveyard. These. You know, I drew a lot of my bronzes away. So I've only got 4 cards left in my deck. Can't see it because I'm in the way. There you go. I've got 4 cards in my deck. He's got 8. So as you can see, I've thinned my deck more. There you go. Rain, that's not the best option at all. That only does 1 damage. 1 damage on 2 units, so he's made a mistake there. Okay, here's the big power play that I was saving. 5 strength. I give my opponent 5 strength, so if we just negate that, all the value is going to come whatever comes next. I got 16 plus 5. There you go, look at that. In 1 card, we got, what was that, 21 strength. Yeah. That is, I think that's the best example there. I do think maybe I could have won that, depending on how many ticks of weather. But the rope was there, you see. But I knew I'd be able to win the end because I had short round and he only had his leader. So what happened there was my opponent, he didn't play weather. I don't know why he held his Dagon and his Woodland Spirit, his 2 fog sources back for so long. Maybe he thought I was going to pass a bit quicker. And that is an issue with monster players. You know, do you play your weather because it's going to be very useful in long rounds? Because then they might pass, but... Okay, yeah, so... This deck does work in very short, bursty rounds. So if you can win round 1 and bleed them, and then play your big card at the end of round 2, then it's going to be quite good for you.